A lot of respect for Coach Harsin and his staff, and obviously what Boise's been able to do. They're the winningest Division I program, I think, over the last 10+ years in college football, and quite frankly, Boise is where we're striving to be. And they are annually one of the top Group of 5 programs, and that's where we're trying to take the Troy football program. I'm going to give a Troy update first, kind of talk through each phase of where we're at entering this Week 1 game. Start with special teams. Tyler Sumter, he will handle our place kicking and punting duties just like he finished last year. Right now, we've got a competition to see who's going to handle the kickoff duties between Bratcher Underwood and Evan Lagasse. Cameron Kay will handle all of our long snapping. From a returner basis, Cedarius Rookard will be our punt returner. Marcus Jones may potentially see some time there as well. Kickoff return, we'll have really a group of 3 guys that kind of rotate through: Travion Samuel, Marcus Jones, and Jabir Fry. Offensively, I like what we were able to do during fall camp. I think this is a hungry group. Caleb Barker will start the season as our starter at quarterback. He earned that opportunity. He had a great fall camp. I'm sure I'll get some questions about that later. Sawyer Smith will play in the game, and will have a role for sure. I mean, he'll play multiple snaps, and one of our most improved players in our entire program probably over the last 9 months. Running backs will be by committee, but B.J. Smith will get the opening start. He's earned that. Jamarius Henderson, Jabir Fry will also get some carries at that position. Offensive line, Austin Stidham will start left tackle. The rest of the front will be as we finished last year. Expect to see Travius Harris and Dylan Bradshaw. They will both play in the game as well. At receiver, I think this is the most talent we've had at that position during my time here. Probably the most talent we've had in several years here. Our top 6 guys will all play and be active. Damian Willis, DeAndre Douglas, Sidney Davis, Travion Samuel, Luke Whittemore, and then Trey Eford. All 6 of those guys will play and play significant time. And then at tight end, Sam Letton will start, and Gabe Hill will see time, as will Richard Hallman. So that's kind of who we will roll out there and play against Boise. Defensively, obviously a lot of guys returning. I think the key for our success on that side of the ball is just continue to be hungry and get to the football. Defensive line-wise, I like our depth. We've got a great battle going on right now for who's going to start at the defensive end position between Antoine Barker and Jarvis Hayes. Trayvon Sanders will start at nose. Marcus Webb will start at the 3 technique, and he's had a great camp. Excited to where he's at. At linebacker, Carlton Marshall and Justin Wisenhunt continue to compete for who's going to start at the Mike linebacker spot. Both will play in the game. At will, Tron Folsom, obviously, and A.J. Smiley's made a move in camp, and he's earned the right to play. At Bandit, Hunter Reese returns, and then we've got a battle to see who's going to back him up. Both freshman Antonio Showers and sophomore Kevin Nixon will play. At Spear, Tyler Murray, Will Sunderland will see significant action, Oklahoma transfer. And then at corner, we'll basically rotate three guys. Marcus Jones, Terrence Dunlap, and Blaise Brown. They'll be all 3 be listed as starters, and Juwan McDowell will play in the game as well. And then at safety, Rookard returns. Melvin Tyus will start, and then Kyle Nixon will be the first guy off the bench at safety. So kind of give you an idea where we're at as far as entering this first game. Briefly talk about Boise, what you can expect. Starting with special teams, they dominated us last year in special teams. Probably where the biggest difference was in the game. They were really good across the board statistically last year. They really out executed us and out efforted us in special teams. Wake up call, we were able to recover. Never played as good as we needed to last year, special teams wise, but they definitely got after us. They've got a really good kickoff guy. His last name is Velasquez. He handled punting at the end of the season. I wouldn't be surprised. They're going to play. I wouldn't be surprised if they use both. They have a right footer and a left footer. Field goal, the guy that returns solid, and they've got one of their snappers back. Huge emphasis this week on coverage for us. Their return specialists Also, their starting corner, Avery Williams. He's talented. I think he was the Mountain West Conference Player of the Week last year against us. Was a Special Teams Player of the Week nationally, and according to some folks, and well deserved. I think he had 5 returns for 120 yards, returned a touchdown on the opening punt of the game, and had 2 huge kickoff returns and another solid punt return as well. So we've got to account for him much better than we did last year. That's going to be a huge factor in the game. Offensively, they're multiple. They do a good job with shifts, motions. Obviously, they've got a reputation for trick plays. We'll have to cover those. They've got a 4-year starter in Brett Rippon that comes back. But I think for them, it all starts with their run game. And they've kind of had this identity on offense of being gadget oriented, but that's not who they are. They line up and they run the football, and they've been successful doing that. And the running back, the more I watch the Madison kid, the more respect I have for him. Last year against us was his first start, but man, he got better as the year went. I think I looked at PFF. I think he had over 640 yards after contact last year, which is extremely impressive. And then they have their 4 out of their 5 starters, and they really like the redshirt freshman that's going to play at the other tackle. So they consistently played and improved as the year went on up front. And they've got some unproven guys a wideout, but I know this: they've always at least had one guy. Last year was Cedric Wilson. They'll have somebody step up and be a go-to guy for them at receiver, and they'll play multiple tight ends. They lost a couple, but they have couple guys they feel good about. Defensively, they were top 25 last year. They're physical. The thing that sticks out to me, we only broke 1 tackle against them last year, which is unheard of. Okay, we broke 1 tackle in the complete football game last year, 60-some plays. But they're great tacklers, and they dominated us last year. They got 10 starters back. I think they have one of the best secondaries in the country. They have 2 corners that have potential to play in the NFL. Horton is their top guy there. They've got a safety. I'm not even going to pretend I know how to say his name. Number 10, second leading tackler, leading returning tackler, physical, makes a bunch of plays. And then up front, they do a great job schematically of getting their guys in position. Moa and then the nose tackle, both are really good players, and they've got a good 1-2 punch at the stud position, what we call our bandit position, where they got Frazier and Curtis Weaver there, and they both applied a lot of pressure and got tackles for a loss last year. So, this is it's a great challenge for us, man. And somebody just asked me on the press conference, how does it? You're playing a huge game out the box, and I think it's great. I think it's great for college football. I think it's great for our program. I'm not saying this is the biggest game we've ever played with. It may be the most significant opener for us, as far as opening up the north end zone. Hopefully our fans are going to show out. We're Alabama and Auburn are both out of town, so we expect to have a huge crowd. Hopefully it'll be the largest crowd we've ever had in Veterans Memorial Stadium. Couple great events, the College Football Playoff Initiative, the Extra Yard for Teacher. We're going to honor teachers in the game, and also we're going to host the Alabama Special Olympics. Both those causes are near to me. We do a great job university-wide hosting the Alabama State Special Olympics here. For some of you guys that cover baseball, we had those athletes at our baseball game versus South at the last weekend of the season, and probably as good a baseball atmosphere as I've ever seen here in my 8 years. And then obviously coming from an education background, the Extra Yard for Teachers, and our players and our staff are going to be involved doing some things for our local teachers this week. So all in all, fun time, man. That'll be the longest opening statement I give all year. So with that, we'll open it up for questions.
Both Sawyer and Caleb seem like leadership guys. How much did that play into it? Will it play into it, and what you're expecting out of them?
Yeah, I think both of them have leadership capabilities, and it's like this. I feel like I don't think Sawyer lost a job. I always feel like this in quarterback competition. Barry, you heard me talk about it in preseason, probably talked about it on your radio show, is I always feel like somebody won the job, and Caleb won the job with his ability to, from a production standpoint, and his ability to make plays with his feet, and from a efficiency standpoint in the passing game. I have a lot of confidence in Sawyer, and I think our team does too, and that's why Caleb's going to start. Somebody has to start. He's going to be the starter, but Sawyer will have a significant role in our offense on Saturday.
Along those lines, talk about Caleb and his progress. How far has he come?
Yeah, well, he's come a long way. I mean, I think people forget he comes from Priceville High School, and he was up for the Gatorade Player of the Year statewide. He was a Player of the Year in his level in high school, and he didn't play as a junior because he tore his ACL in game 1 or game 2 as a junior. He comes here. We quite frankly probably didn't know what we had his freshman year. We used him more as the year went on. He played quite a bit of special teams for us as a true freshman. Continue to get bigger and stronger, learn the offense, and really last spring and the spring of 17 is when he kind of grabbed our coach's attention, just because he was so improved from the fall, and he and Sawyer both got to share the reps because Brandon was out.
You mentioned the depth and everything. You have a wide receiver. How would that benefit Caleb and Sawyer, really with him making his first start in the second?
Yeah, it's going to be a huge benefit. And our guys, our wide receivers, they're playing the most consistent they've have during our 4 years here. Now we've got to carry over that to the game. And quite frankly, last year in this game is we just did not play very good at wide out. And it was really more detail oriented, and we didn't have a great fall camp either at wide out, and it carried over to the game. And it took us about mid-year to hit our stride. I think we're in a better position now from a health standpoint, from just paying attention to details, having more discipline, those type of things. I'm excited about the 6 guys that are going to play significant roles for us. I think they're all a little bit different. They will make Caleb's job easier without and also when Sawyer throws the ball, they're going to make both of the quarterbacks' jobs easier.
Talk about Marcus Jones, and is he going to be taking more responsibility on defense? Is that going to take away from his returning ability?
No, he played. I think he was he was, I don't know, Adam, you tell me, he was 5 or 6 in tackles last year, I think. So he played a significant role on defense last year. And so I don't think that'll hinder him at all. He's going to start at corner. Last year he started more in a nickel position, but he played a majority of the snaps, especially down the stretch when we played spread teams. So he's as good a condition as anybody on our football team. He's knock on wood, he's stayed healthy throughout his whole time. So I think he'll excel at both areas this time.
How excited are you potentially to not only have Cam returning kicks, but Javier Fry healthy?
Yeah, well, I think all 3 of them. Travion Samuels is returned. We have 3 guys on our football team that have returned touchdowns, kickoff returns for touchdowns in Division I. Travion Samuel did it at Louisville before he transferred here. Javier Fry did it against New Mexico State, and then Marcus did it 3 times a year ago. So all 3 of those guys are going to get opportunities for sure. The thing about it, this game is the Velasquez kid has such a good leg. He kicks it out of the end zone at a high percentage of time. Sure.
Punt back for a touchdown, then kickoff right after that, took it back into that old territory.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we'd like to return a kick for a touchdown. I think more for us is just not getting. We gave up so much field position, and that's lost. And we played really well on defense last year. And I think if you probably ask Boise, they probably feel about the same way I did offensively. As I don't think they probably feel like they didn't play as well as they could, but we played well defensively last year, and especially considering the fact that bad field position the whole day because of how badly we performed on special teams. So to me, obviously if we return a kick, that'd be icing on the cake. I just want to play sound football on special teams and be in a position where we can win the field position battle.
You mentioned 1 broken tackle. Has that ever happened?
No, you can go back and watch that press conference after the game. That was we played really poorly on offense last year. We coached poorly on offense last year. I watched the game. I watched the game multiple times. I watched it again yesterday morning early, and we just didn't play very fast. Which is, which we've gone about everything from how we prepare for our first game completely different this year than we did a year ago. That's from how we handled camp to how we've handled this actual game week. Just because in 2 out of 3 phases we were no-shows in that game, and that's not taking anything away from Boise. I don't think they played one of their better games either, but we just weren't ready to play for whatever reason. didn't handle the trip, whatever you want to say. We just didn't play very well. So we've gone and reevaluated and changed up how we go about performing in this game, or how we preparing for this game, and hopefully our performance will be better.
Is that a motivating factor for this team this year with how the season went last year?
I don't think so. I think it's the motivation piece is we're just trying to start 1-0. I mean, and that sounds cliche or whatever, but we're just trying to start 1-0. You know, and this game's not going to make or break us. You know, it's a game that obviously we would like to win, but our goal is to be at the end and have a chance of playing that first ever championship game and have an opportunity to host it here. But this is a game that has national relevance. It's a game that I think is a measuring stick for us as a program. If Boise is at the level we want to be at, then we eventually have to start beating those level teams. So I'm excited for it. You know, I think it's we're going to be ready. You know, our guys are excited. I like where this football team's at. Now, can we handle everything that goes with it? We got a lot of things going on this week.
I've talked to some of the players, and they talk about Marcus Webb, and the linemen have a hard time keeping their hands on him. He's difficult to lock up. What is it about Marcus?
He's strong, and he's really talented. He's if it all comes together for him, Barry, he's the he's the most talented defensive lineman that we've had. Really, probably since the last one was drafted. You know, whether it was Mario or Massaquoi, I'm not real sure. Whoever the last one that was drafted, he's the most talented guy. Now, he hadn't put it together in a game, so I tend to wait on heavy praise until they perform lightweight consistently in the games. But he has flipped a switch in fall camp, and now he's got to do it from a production standpoint on Saturdays.
Coach, I agree with you about the anticipation of this game. I think it's the most anticipated opener I can remember. Is there any concern about tempering that so that this game doesn't become make season or break season with
Yeah.
win or lose?
Well, I think it's a good point, Jerry. I think the thing that we've talked about is regardless of whatever happens on Saturday, how we handle Sunday and Monday is going to be the exact same. If we go out and win, which will be as significant a victory as we've had, then Sunday and Monday is going to be the same. If we don't play very well, then Sunday and Monday is going to be the same. And so we're just talking about – we talk about this week and this week only. I'm not concerned about the ramifications of it. I want us to handle – I'm more concerned about us handling everything that goes along with this week, you know, as far as the north end zone opening up, as far as we're going to play a lot of young people for the first time, them having to deal with ticket requests, the added media that's around because of the success that we've had and obviously the success that Boise's had. I'm more worried about us drowning out all that noise and just worrying about how we can go about preparing to play our best, whatever our best is. 'Cause I really have no idea. You know, and I think if you asked 129 Division I football coaches right now, I'm not sure any of them would really. Some maybe that have quite a bit more experience than me, but you know, I've got a certain expectation, but I really don't know until we go out there and play a game. I really don't know what to expect.
You had two of the better scholarship reveals this offseason with Cameron Kay and Carlton Marshall.
Yeah.
What stuck out about those two guys to kind of put them on scholarship? Apparently paid off for Carlton being now listed as a starter.
Yeah. So here's kind of the criteria we go about on this is for a walk on to earn a scholarship, and that's what they do. They earn it. We're not necessarily giving them. Is they got to play. Okay, be a starter or be a heavy rotation guy. They got to be doing really well academically, or a combination of doing well academically and just their character and their significance they have in our program is so high that they are worthy of being put on scholarship. And a lot of times those happen toward the end of their career. But Cameron, one of our hardest workers, was our starter last year in both areas of snapping. We'll carry that into this year as well. So he earned that opportunity. And Carlton Marshall, who's only been here a year, but if he's fighting for that opportunity to be a starter, he's going to start on multiple special teams, and this is as a redshirt freshman. So I didn't see the need to wait. You know, I thought he's a guy that has shown in last fall camp, and he showed in spring ball, and he showed in this fall camp that he was ready to play, and he was going to play a big role. So instead of waiting, we just went on and did it now. Yep.
Fans coming on Saturday going to see a different team than they did last year. Obviously, every year there's a new.
Yeah, well, I hope we play better than we did last year on offense. So I hope they see a better offensive team than we were a year ago. I think teams always evolve. So I think we'll evolve. Will we be night and day different than when we lined up and played against North Texas? Probably not. I think sometimes Brandon's a good athlete. Would he run in the 40? Would Caleb and Sawyer both run the 40 faster than him? Yes. From a natural athlete standpoint, I'm not sure. I think Brandon is probably an underrated athlete, and we ran him a decent bit, especially in some of our big football games. Did some option things with him. Will we be? Do we have some new wrinkles? Do we have some things we haven't shown? Yes. But I think that's the way it is across the board. We haven't played since the middle of December. So over that time, you've got 9 months or so to kind of evaluate what you do offensively. I expect Boise, they'll have some different looks too, because they're out studying people, NFL, college, high school, whatever it is. So they'll have some new wrinkles as well too. Yep.
We know who the ones are now.
Yep.
We know who the twos are. We don't know by how much.
Yeah.
Tell me about your depth and how important could that be, especially.
Well, yeah, we're going to need depth. I think early in the season, we play a lot of people. So I think then it shows, and we had multiple people that didn't start on our defense, weren't technically starters last year on defense, that were preseason first team all conference. And I think that's a product of playing a lot of people, and especially in these non-conference games. These first 3 weeks, we'll play a ton of people on defense, especially. So because you evaluate in practice, but that's all about preparation. And it's a two-piece deal. You got to prepare, and then you perform. And so preparation, that gives you an opportunity, but it doesn't guarantee. So you still have to go perform. And so, we're still in the evaluation mode. And really, until we get on that bus to go to Monroe, we're going to be still in that evaluation mode to figure out, okay, these guys are prepared, but they didn't handle the limelight. They didn't handle when the lights came on very well. So they still have to go out and perform. And our rotations probably won't be fully set until we head to Monroe. Anybody else? Yeah, so he's earned that right. He's a redshirt sophomore, and he's ready to play. We'll really see how practice goes today and tomorrow before we set that. I do know that he will play. Nah, we'll probably not. We'll just probably, especially with the heat and the humidity early in the season, I think it does, especially the big guys, to spell them. So probably just spell him at center.